So, as I said, the next panel discussion is about venture capital, about funding, and we have quite a few speakers to discuss this issue. First is Yuri Rabinovich, founder of VNTR Capital. Let's give him a round of applause, everybody. Please. Emre Yetişkin, general manager of WhiteBIT Türkiye. Come on, guys. Energy. Timur, Daudpota, Lifecycle manager at Uplandme and mentor at 500 Global. Can Azizoglu, founder and CEO of Coinoxs, and moderating the discussion will be the co-director of Startup Grind Tbilisi and founder of Startup Connect, Colin Donohue. Colin, the floor is yours.
So we're going to have two sections of the panel. First, the panelists will introduce themselves, where they're coming from, what their perspectives are on the topic. Then we'll just have a conversation about some of the themes related to what VCs are getting attracted to in Web3 these days, when it's not as easy as it was. So we can just go from stage left to stage right. If you'd like to start, John.
Hello. First of all, thanks for this amazing organization. And I'm very glad to be with you and with you, gentlemen. Thank you. My name is John. I'm a founder of Coinoxs. We are basically a Web3 transformation platform, and we incubate projects that have value, and we invest them from $500K to $1 million, and we still do it in this market because I believe there is a value in building blockchain, and the real products are already on our mobile phones. And I just amazed in Tbilisi. Wow, you can pay your bills with Tether or something. I mean, it's an amazing adoption. For me at least. In Turkey, we have struggling, not regulated or soft regulated market. But for example, in Dubai also, there's soft regulation, but we can discuss later about that. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Timur. I was at Upland, Lifecycle Marketing Manager. So Upland was the largest in terms of landowners when you're looking at Decentraland or even Sandbox. Fun fact about Upland is that we had more NFT owners than even OpenSea and other platforms combined. Currently I'm with 500 startups, helped run a lot of programs, so we're all the way from the CIS region to Asia, and all across the world. So worked with over 800 startups by now, and using that I built pattern recognition to see what's working, what's not working, and how do we transfer that knowledge from different regions. And then started angel investing on my own, including Anamika brands. So right now 3 unicorns under the belt, and soon to be soonicorns with only 20 investments. I'm super happy to be here.
Hello everyone, this is Emre Yetişkin. I'm GM for WhiteBIT Turkey, and WhiteBIT is like a European largest liquidity exchange, and we have European licenses for more than 4 million users, 350 trading pairs, and like daily $500 million trading volume. So what we do, we not only serve to B2C, we also serve to B2B for technical part, and we do negotiation with market makers, venture capitals, hedge funds, some exchanges, startups. We have our own launchpad, and you can get launch on our platform. We launched 2 projects within 2 months. It's very new. We have our own blockchain, BB network, and both of them succeed in a short period of time. First one is collected like $1 million in 8 minutes. Second one is 29 seconds, collected 500K. So you can just ping me if you need anything, any help for technical sites, startups, any question about Web3, how I can do what. I will be very welcoming to help you.
If they work. Hey guys, my name is Yuri and I'm from Portugal. originally from Kazakhstan, then Israel, then Silicon Valley, then Latvia. So come to Portugal, but don't stay there. Not enough space for great people. I run a global investors community called Venture Capital, spells VNTR. And we are uniting VCs, angels, family offices, and corporate VCs on one platform. We host a lot of events to bring investors together so that they can invest in the best startups. The best startups are coming from other investors, and we enable that co-investment between them. And we are growing the community globally. We are present in 40 different cities, from Tokyo to Bolivia, San Francisco, and everything in between. So if you are an investor, join us, and we would love to co-invest with you. We also invest as a syndicate, focusing on later stage opportunities from Series B, where we structure SPVs, and investors can join through us into great companies. And also VC funds, where you can join as LP with small checks into top VC funds. Thank you.
Great. So Yuri, while you have the mic, let's start on that end, and we can work our way back. And we're going to get used to throwing the mics over. So you have sort of a broad perspective, a non-Web3 perspective on venture investment. I wonder if you might set a bit of context as to what you're seeing in the world. I mean, again, when VNTR or Tribe V were starting, the world was a bit of a different place. Now it is where it is. And then within that, Web3 is also in a very, very different place. So I wonder if you might just, from your broad perspective, share what you're seeing in the context of people trying to build great companies in Web3.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, we invested in Series E of Varo Bank at 2 billion pre-money, 510 million round, right? So it seemed like a great opportunity, right? Because there is another 20x to grow for that company and capture the US market. Since then, there was a small down round, but the company is great and growing. But you don't see these type of rounds happening right now. With crypto, it was also crazy investments into ideas, some great product companies as well. You don't see that happening now as well, right? It's kind of a lot of things changed. Now investors don't invest in shitcoins, they invest in businesses. So it's kind of a lot of changed. You also don't see crypto investors invest in crypto. They invest in Safe Plus, which is equity plus tokens. So in a way, they're not crypto investors, they're equity investors, or like more sophisticated VC investors that actually do due diligence.
And so maybe Emre, you can speak next, but just to provide an observation on that, like for me, having been involved in the startup world, not specific to crypto or Web3 or blockchain, it's actually really refreshing to see the discipline of the market increasing, because for a while there was a lot of what we call in the industry bullshit. And now there are a lot more folks, building solid businesses, really looking at how they're creating value for customers. So in some ways, it's a really good thing for the industry. The industry is maturing. People are building focused on value rather than hype. So it's really appealing, but it's really hard on the ground. So Emre, what would you say about your enthusiasm for investing in Web3 projects right now? Yuri was kind of a bummer. Are you happier now? You seem to smile more than he does. So why is that?
Actually, I am a little crypto enthusiastic because I changed all my career because of crypto. And the reason I have a daughter. She's like 5 years old. And I imagine what she's going to tell me when after 20 years, when the Bitcoin will be like $500K, $1 million, and she will tell to me, "Father, what were you thinking when it was 25, 26? Where were you? What were you doing?" And I see myself that I lost in my old career, so I was making some other guys rich. So I think about what I am doing for myself. So there is innovation going on the crypto blockchain side, and we are just skipping it. We don't make enough attention. What is going on? What is blockchain? How these guys do this? How I can be like startup? How I can raise funds? So I'm really shocked when what I see, because you can collect any amount of funds within a seconds. You just need to express yourself. You just need to solve one problem, which world exists many. We already saw what happened about Airbnb, Uber, and so on. What they did, they just solved some simple question, and that's it, problem, and that's it. Boom. Everybody track you if you solve some problems, and you have a great team. So what VCs are looking for startups? They are checking real-time usage of your project, what you are solving, how you will solve it, with which team. Are you able to do that or not? Then everything is like a boom. In the old sector, if you need to collect like billions, you need to work like 20, 30 years. But now it's like a one day time you can do it. But you need to develop well. You just not collect the money and do nothing. You need to collect the money, develop your project, go on, go on, go on. Now we are creating our own stone to walk on it. That's it. And after 20 years, everybody will say that, okay, one guy told me this and I did this, where I am right now. How many people I am helping? Because it's helping to each other, not making platforms rich. Okay, there are some platforms which gave you ability to do those, but you can do it directly, peer-to-peer. That's the enthusiastic part for me, because that's why I see this train, okay, this time I will jump.
Mm-hmm. So really liked what you said, yeah, really what you said about solving some specific problems, because coming at it from the sort of Silicon Valley VC mindset, one of the things I really saw a lot, especially in the early days, is people would have these great grand plans and they'd be so complex and they'd be so intricate, but really the things that most reliably produce large outcomes is very simple, very specific things that meet a need and that you can scale across a lot of users. So like being able to sign a document, right? Or being able to do recurring payments, or just really basic things. And there are so many openings in the market to build stuff folks are going to use. And you can watch them using it. It's not a matter of like trying to get users to come into your metaverse environment, and you end up with like a lot of having to like pay, and end up paying more in marketing than you get in the people coming. If you focus on really specific structural things that people need in an everyday basis, I think that makes a lot of sense from a U.S. VC perspective as well as what you're coming from. So, Timur, what would you say about some of the dynamics of what makes you optimistic with regards to Web3 investing, and what advice would you have for folks to sort of be interesting to investors?
Yeah, I think a lot of times when we were looking at the Web3 world, we all think it's a new thing. But I traditionally look at it as in terms of waves, right? Like every 10 years we have certain sort of wave, and the people who ride these waves become kings, right? So when the personal computer revolution was happening, we saw kings as Bill Gates and Steve Jobs come on top. Then internet revolution happened. We saw Jeff Bezos and Facebook come on top. And when the iPhone app stores came out, we saw really unicorns coming out top with Uber and Instagram and WhatsApp. And now we're a really interesting time in history where we have three revolutions going on at the same time, right? We have the Web3 space, we have AI, and we have like biotech going on. And people who are going to ride these waves are going to become the kings. In terms of Web3 space, we think it's scary, right? Because market's down, nobody wants to touch it. But I remember a few years back, everybody was so afraid of touching AI. Everybody's like, I'm working on AI, I'm working on AI. Nobody wants to invest. And then suddenly ChatGPT comes on and everybody becomes an AI investor, right? And that's the same thing with Web3. Somebody's gonna come up with something novel that is gonna work, and suddenly everybody becomes an investor, right? And one thing I learned about investors that they all think they're mavericks, but everybody's a sheep, right? They love following trends, and that's what's happening.
Great. So anything you'd like to add, John?
I have investment on various typos, very different industries like mining, actual mining, real mining, and like construction, oil, etc. And it's the family side, but at the end we see the risk is diverse between, in the industries. Yes, it's bear market, but now we are talking about Twitter, now new X. He just transferred his business to Web3 because he's paying back the users actually value, right? Why he did that? Because there were a new company, Treats, right? Instagram. Like they had a very hard competition. So two type of actually blockchain projects. One simply gaming or service providing something, and one actual businesses. That's what I'm looking for right now. Actual businesses who wants to compete with their competitors with blockchain and Web3 mindset and new business model. Because I think that will be the future. I mean, some NFT projects, gamification, those are all very valuable, but so we are actually there now. So thanks to Elon Musk from here. So we have really good stories. I think he will also gonna pay this payments to the content creators with crypto. He got license from New York, Rhode Island license, as I know from the media. So I think as investor in Web3 especially, I feel more safe in Web2 transformations of real businesses and get some more benefits. And I think this is more logical in the bear market and in the future. And so I would love to support your ideas also, if you have a real working business about that. We can talk about it.
Great, thank you. So yeah, an open question for all the panelists. Just sort of raise your hand. So one of the framing of the question is, what catches the eye of VCs these days? So as we have founders in the audience, people who have dreams they're trying to build, what would your advice be on how they might be more effective in catching the eye of VCs and having a compelling enough story to tell and enough supporting evidence to get through to an investment? So what's your advice to the builders in the room?
I can speak on that. I think the basics is always covered, right? Have a good founding team that knows how to build. But especially in this space, whenever I'm investing, we're looking at companies that allow other people to build on top, right? So when Microsoft came out, you had allowed people to build on top. iOS allows people to build on top, right? Even in the Web3 space, the companies that allow other people to build on top of it are going to become winners, right? So even if you're looking at arena games as a simple example, they allow other gamers to build on top of their platform. The same situation here is predominant. So whoever's creating and allowing people to build on top of platforms is a no-brainer. And that's the most simplest thing. So in a nutshell, yeah.
Great. And any other advice on framing up and presenting your startups? Okay, please.
Actually, we are on the same page with you, Colin. the task should be like simple, not too complicated. Because as we all know that we have facing many problems within our daily lifetime, and you just need to open your mind to find that problem and solve it with your experience. So sometimes the diversity is good for this because you have a knowledge of something else, but you just check the opportunity that, okay, there's this problem, how I can solve it. It's like if you don't get focused, you don't see it. You need to get focused, and when you create your team, not only friends, you have to create a team to solve this problem. Then VC or exchange will see that, okay, there's a problem, and this much market, this much people facing this problem. This is a market for the project, and this guy has this team to solve this problem. And why this team? He believes his team, and he's like a leadership for his team. And the other things we will handle. Collecting funds, marketing. There are platforms who does that for free because they get benefit from that. What you need to focus? Solving problem, having a team, and leadership. That's it.
Great, thanks for that. Just a quick comment, and then Yuri. One thing I would also highlight is the difference between when you're building in a bull market versus a bear market. You know, when the market's down, the investors are going to be much closer paying attention to when you're going to make money, the reliability of that. The big dreams, I'm not saying you shouldn't have big dreams, right? Like, have just incredibly big dreams, but also if you're a first-time founder, you do need to understand that you'll be a much more effective person at approaching those big dreams after you've won something and you've cashed in something. So like Amazon didn't say, we're going to do everything in the world. We're going to do video. We're going to do cloud. We're going to do, grocery delivery. They said, we're going to do this very specific thing. We are going to win textbooks for students because they're too expensive through the other channels, and we know we can nail this. They nailed that. They did the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. So I'm not saying don't dream big, but start very specifically and have an idea of how your successes can build up to bigger opportunities. And trying to pitch the biggest thing you can think of now, it's out of cycle with the funding cycles. So now's a good time just to go for those sort of base hits, if you can say it in a baseball terminology. Yuri, did you have?
Yeah. So when you get started, a lot of founders are afraid to share what they're working on. So my recommendation is to share with as many people as possible and get their advice. And when you ask for advice, eventually you get some money also from your friends, and then from angels that believe in you. You will find co-founders. People will join you because they are, they like your mission. They like the problem that you're solving. So I would encourage to tell everyone what you're working on, and you'll get a team, you'll get advisors, and you'll get money. So this could be my recommendation.
Great. All right. So I just have a question, and because I'm on stage, I'm going to ask it. It's not like under this exactly, but NFTs. Where are we? Like to the popular press, everything just evaporated, and it's the end. But where really are we in NFTs as a tool in the world?
I will start. I think NFTs are great technology, and you will see that NFTs being used for lots of use cases, and not necessarily for trading digital goods or speculating on monkeys or doing, trading of pictures, right? So you'll see NFTs being applied everywhere, right? fractional ownership of real estate, certificate, maybe birth certificates, etc. So there will be lots of use cases for the technology, and the future is bright, I would say.
I think we not even started yet. Because, now we are in a position that there are a lot of things are going on in the world. AI is coming, crypto is coming, blockchain, Web3, a lot of stuff. But we are thinking that NFT is already gone. No, NFT is not gone. We didn't even do what we can do with NFTs. We have all our passports, we have all our IDs, we have all our certificates, we have all our loans, mortgages, and a lot of things is on paper. But NFT, we didn't even start yet. It's not just some monkey. NFT is something different. We need to understand what we can do with NFTs. And governments needs to adjust that. Otherwise, of course, it's just like some unhyped technology at the moment. But we didn't even start yet because these things needs to develop. It's not like boom. Okay, you have an idea, but then you need to develop it. Then you need to bring one dinosaur and explain to him, and then you need to get permission to do that. Then you will have usage of NFTs. Now we have just NFTs, like an idea, but we are not using it. Who is using NFT right now on their daily business? We don't do it. We are just carrying our wallets, passports, some documentation. We are hiding them somewhere. But we don't use the NFT right now. It's not even started yet. We didn't skip this. We just developing it. And we will see in the future. When it comes in the events at this time, you will see it maybe use case after 5 or 10 years. It's not that easy. Like we are talking about Google, Amazon, and all these things. It happened in 80s, not 2000. We start using it after 20 years.
Yeah, and I think that speaks also to one of the dynamics that I've been talking with folks about, which is when blockchain is really adopted, it's not going to be this visible, hypey thing. It's going to be built into systems that accomplish, sort of daily goals and objectives, whether it's credible, documentation, whether it's like internal sort of business process and record keeping. So yeah, so the suggestion that things will just get baked into our lives. Any other thoughts on NFTs or you can stray into other topics if you want to.
No, let's keep talking about NFTs because I'm super happy the market's down because I can finally afford the monkey.
I'll copy paste one for you.
Yeah, I would have never been able to afford it before, right? But I think it just, Colin, just comes down to utility, right? What utilities are we providing to people, right? The simplest thing when we're thinking about the monkey is think about as your American Express card, right? Like you have now exclusive access to amazing airport lounges, amazing players that would have carried or associated with certain type of brand. And yeah, in basic words, it's just utilities, right? What utilities these NFTs provide. One of the great thing about NFTs that people don't realize is that every time an artist sells their picture, you get royalties, right? You have these fees associated with it. The creative industry has been really looking into adopting this, right? So like imagine you have your movies, you have your songs. Every time somebody buys it, you have a trackable way of like who is streaming what, where is it, and then that kind of keeps track of all that stuff. And especially we know NFT has a good utility in terms of games, right? So when at Upland, it becomes very valuable if you have a certain type of NFT and you can move that across different universes or different metaverses. So it's still there, is still underground. It's being used by the early adopters who are really passionate about it, but it's going to resurface like everything else.
I was trying to actually 2 times create an NFT collection for my OxsDao, and I failed 2 times. Why I failed? First, I just want to tell it like it's happening. So I failed because I didn't work with right people. Because this NFT community, forget about tokens. That is another universe. I mean, this is another planet. The people that buying and selling tokens, totally different than who is buying and selling NFT. So we have, I didn't know that, I think. And I learned it very well. So what I want to say that NFTs is a totally different topic, and it aims to totally different people mindset, and they are more indie. They are more community based. They are, so earning money. Yes, it's first price, but it's not the main thing in NFTs. So they like to own something. Something belongs to them. They like it. And they really understood that this picture or this token or this card, and if it gives something more than being a community member, it's very well. But I just learned that you cannot just talk them like in that way you think in your real business, Web2 or crypto trading stuff, yeah? You cannot shill an NFT project. So direct marketing, it's impossible. So I spent too much money and I just wasted. So I just want to tell you if you have an NFT collection. But right now, what's happened? Biggest NFT, one of the biggest Web3 NFT community, like hundreds of Web3, they have get invested on my project. So now I have partners. So it was how I should to do before. Yeah, but it takes 2 years to I convince them accept me inside. So because it's totally different space, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what I want to say.
Yeah, and it's these community dynamics are super interesting, and somebody was just talking recently about the similarity of sort of the gamer community and some of these some of the Web3 communities. That's really what's driving a lot. And yeah, and so it's one thing we have to overcome, I think, in terms of NFTs is this perception, and it was kind of, I brought it up as a joke, the perception of this as, you know, just a piece of art that's linked to something and with an arbitrary value. It's like, okay, no, these have business functions that go behind it. So I'll end with the last question, which is, what do you make of the current regulatory environment and how it affects implications for both fundraising and value creation?
I can start and pass them.
Sure.
So I have experience on AML compliance. I'm a specialist from Switzerland. So I had lots of stories about Estonian regulation, bad stories, some good stories from Turkey. I have no idea about here, but I see it's massive adoption and they are doing well. So in Turkey, for example, I want to give Turkish and Dubai regulations. So in Dubai, there is a crypto service providing license, but it's worth nothing. Sorry if you have a Dubai DMCC something I hear. Why? Because you cannot open bank accounts with that. When I go to bank, the banking manager, the general manager is my bro, the owner. So he tell me, John, please don't put anything about crypto on your website, okay? And no exchange money here. I mean, so what's the matter then? I mean, if you don't, I mean, if it's not functional. So we have this kind of regulatories. That's what I want to emphasize. But I guess here is good. So I tried Estonian regulation for my company, Coinoxs, because we need on-ramp, off-ramp our tokens very officially regulated. So I opened an Estonian company 2 years ago, and I was too late for that. I just missed that Estonian crypto heaven. Then what happened? Even Bankiera didn't open an account to me. I just feel like really get crazy, and now I dissolved the company this year. But about Turkish regulations, on my side, it's going well. So for example, if you're interested in Turkish market, contact with me. It's giant. We have 45 million people in crypto, and they will get interested what you're doing because we have high inflation, etc. So government just actually soft regulated the exchange very silently. So why? How they do it? They just send you someone that checks your financing and be sure that you are not scamming people or like laundering money, etc. And we have a finance police. So this finance police using chain analysis or etc. something like that checks in and out. So I think it's good. I mean, right? And the exchange have the accounts, but like there is different ways. But I don't know where they will go. But as I see from USA, the West side didn't like it. But I think we are fine here. I'm really curious about what you can say.
Really good point of view. I think if you're looking at why regulations happen, I think it's a good and a bad thing, right? Regulations are happening because, of course, the way governments make money is through taxations, right? That's how we get control. Essentially, like I even tell my girlfriend is that, I'm pretty much paying money to be out of jail, right? Because I don't want to go to jail because that's why I pay my taxes. And it's all amazing. We're singing Kumbaya when the market's going up with the cryptocurrencies, but everything when crashes, because there's a lot of scammers, right? The market's gonna eventually even itself out. It's not as fun, right? So in that terms, you also need regulations. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's my thought on it.
Regulations has ups and downs. There's a power structure within the world. There are some countries who has their own rules, and politically they use it within the world. So you can get regulated, or you can do same stuff with decentralized DeFi, but then you cannot work with the regulated companies and regulated targets. So you need to choose your way, what you want to do. If you want to work with Visa, then you need to get regulated. If you want to do it through DeFi, you don't need to get regulated. And how companies does that? They have entities who's regulated. They have entities who's unregulated. So it's like on the market. It's for everything actually. If you buy a fridge, you get the same technique, but with the different prices. So it's like a segment. You need to choose your audience. But for me, regulation is good because there is a finance sector which is like $900 trillion, and we are just within the reach $3 trillion, and it's go back to $1 trillion. So we need to get some part of this $900 trillion, and this will happen by regulation. It cannot be with unregulated tools. So that's why we need regulation. But of course, you will have the chance to not use it also. So because this is the decentralized, we are putting D on beside of everything, definance, decentralized, and the idea is not to get regulated. But same time, if you want to work with the real companies who are regulated, then you need to get regulated.
All right. Well, let's give a hand to the panelists. Thanks for providing some great perspectives, and catch them in the hallway. Everybody is very available and accessible to talk to. So thanks so much for coming.
Thank you very much, Colin. Thank you very much. Incredible panel.